Well, we're the GaZ cast, but like it's just Gabe and Zach on a cast. We just like a cast of characters.
Yo, welcome to the GaZ cast. It's Gabe, and today I have a very, very special guest. Another one of my friends, one of my best friends I've known since high school. It's my boy Josh. What's up, bro?
What up? What up?
Yeah, he's our residential Pelicans and Broncos fan. So we're gonna get into both of those pretty soon. I mean, we can't even talk about the Pelicans, but quick hit on the Broncos because I want to know like your draft thoughts. First, I did want to know. Well, I want you to let the listeners know. How did you become a Broncos fan?
So that is actually a very easy story. Came from two separate sides. My mom is actually from Denver, and that is obviously the Broncos. And then my dad actually was a huge John Elway fan, like massive. And he's from Arkansas. However, he was so big on John Elway that he became a Broncos fan in probably 90 or no, I guess it was right. It was like 87, 90, something like that, between that range. And I was born a Broncos fan. So it kind of
so
just
you had
like
no choice.
ran with it. Exactly. Went through some awful teams, but we finally got one ring.
Yeah. All right. So who you feeling, John Elway or Peyton Manning?
That's tough. As a career, I think John Elway had the better career. However, I think if I'm having to pick one game, I feel like they're very different quarterbacks, which is funny because John was a super athletic quarterback. He was that quarterback that he doesn't get a lot of respect for it. He was a universal. I mean, he throws one of the hardest balls, amazing accuracy, like could throw it 60, 70 yards with ease, could run, and Peyton won the game with his head. So
he had a big one.
Yep. Yes, he does. Big hairline. Welcome to the club too. Thank you. So if I had to pick one, I will say John.
I'm not mad at that. How you said career versus like a game, I think I go opposite. I think I would take Peyton Manning's career and I'd probably take John Elway for a game. I mean, John Elway, he went to like, what, 5 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude was amazing.
1, 3. And I know a lot of people, like, we only won that last one because of Terrell. So, I mean, I guess, actually, we won 2. John has 2.
Y'all won 2 back-to-back.
Yeah, 2. 97, 98. Yeah. And both of them were Terrell Davis big years, who I think he's one of the most underappreciated running backs of all time. But I don't know. I just feel like in a sense of who I would rather, if I had to become one of those quarterbacks, I'd much rather be the more gifted quarterback. I'd much rather be, the one that can make every throw, the one that can get out of the pocket. Like, for instance, I'd rather be personally Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. I know that gets a lot of hate. And I know a lot of people won't agree with that, but I think it would be a lot more fun living the life of Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady.
I guess if you want to be a fake goat, you want to be the false goat.
No, I will give credit where credit is due. Tom is easily the GOAT. There's no discussion. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, right on. So let's talk about y'all's draft a little bit. We watched the draft together.
Oh, God.
And before the draft, there was a little news. Aaron Rodgers saying that he wanted out of Green Bay. So with that information, the 8th pick happens, going into the 9th pick, Broncos on the clock. What were you thinking?
So one thing about me, and I know I told you there, and at first I was super sad with our pick, y'all. I will be 100% honest with you. I believe that Justin Fields is a transcendent quarterback. I think that if you want to make the argument of Trevor Lawrence as 1, that is fine. I would not discredit it, but I will say that it is not even a Justin Fields S2 to me. It's a 1B. I think he is that good. I think he has everything to succeed in the NFL. And he fell to us. And, all week I was hearing news about us possibly trading up and getting them. And then he fell to us. And I know I was jumping on the ground because I was like, oh my gosh, he fell to us. And then took Patrick Surtain. And no disrespect to Patrick Surtain. I think he's the best corner in the draft. I think he has the potential of being one of the top 5 best corners in the league. He reminds me a lot of Aqib Talib, a next Bronco as well. And it kind of shook me at first, but then I realized very quickly after, I love Patrick Surtain. I think he is phenomenal. I think our defense will be, personally, I believe, an easy top 5 defense. I think our secondary is phenomenal. Added Bryce Callahan, Darby. We have Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson. Like that's, and then Patrick Surtain on top of that. And oh my goodness, I'm going to butcher it. Judume or whatever his name is. I can never pronounce his name. But I think that our secondary is second to none. And I think that if Von Miller can come back healthy and we see a healthy, not Nick Chubb, goodly, Bradley Chubb, then I think that it will be a big old fest of, it's remind me a lot of the 2015 Broncos. And if we can get Aaron, I'm all for this. But yeah.
Well, with y'all getting Aaron Rodgers, y'all would definitely have to send some type of a haul to the Packers. So that will probably weaken your defense, I would say.
You know, I've looked at some of the like experts' opinions and I've looked at some of the stuff. And I honestly think that it would not take as much as people might think because of the fact that I think it's going to be a James Harden type scenario. I think it's going to be get me out of here. And I think it's going to be worse from the stance. I don't think Aaron's going to play. James was playing and he wanted out. He may have not been playing well and he may have been wearing a fat suit, but he definitely wanted to leave. I don't think Aaron's playing. I think Aaron will legit quit before he goes back there. If that's true, if all that information is true, I think Aaron is way too prideful because I think he has always been disrespected. I think as a talent standpoint, he's more talented than Brady. I'm not saying he's better than Brady, but I think as a talent perspective, he's one of the greats. And so I think he believes personally, look, I can win anywhere. Y'all just aren't giving me the pieces. And
yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that perspective. I do think talent-wise, as far as like what you can do on the field with the football, Aaron Rodgers might be a more talented QB than Brady. I said that he was like the best thrower of the football I'd seen before like Patrick Mahomes came along, which obviously I didn't get to see Steve Young live. I didn't get to see, guys like Otto Graham. That's way back to the 60s. Guys are throwing, running, doing all that. But yeah, no, I believe that he could win anywhere. If he went to the Broncos, that would be one tough division. I mean, aren't the Kansas City Chiefs in y'all's division?
Yeah, so we easily right now have the worst quarterback, 100%. Drew Lock is awful. I will admit that.
You're not messing with Bridgewater, bro. Bridgewater could come up and take that spot.
No, that is check down Bridgie. Yeah, he's awful. But no, the vision is very rough. Justin Herbert exploded onto the scene last year, was throwing yards, touchdowns everywhere. And he's going to be in his second year. They look like they have their defense back with Derwin coming back and then also Ingram. So they look like they're bringing back their defense back to that more elite level. And then on top of that, now they have a franchise quarterback, still have Keenan Allen. They lost Hunter Henry, but it's going to be something that it's going to be hard because I feel like the Raiders are a super slept on team. Every year they find a way to win 7 games. Makes no sense. You look at their roster and I'm just like, how does this happen? But last year they beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. And, that's just something that is super hard to just glance by because if we get Rodgers, you have, in my opinion, I still think Rodgers is the second best quarterback in the league. I think that, and no disrespect to Brady, I know I shouldn't even really say that because Brady just won. I feel like Brady winning was more an indictment on his defense than anything that defense has maybe the best postseason defense I've ever seen from one team. Like that whole playoff run was phenomenal. And Brady made excellent throws. No shame in Brady. But just more of like what a quarterback can do for me today, I would take Rodgers. But man, it's gonna be one of those things. AFC is quickly turning into the more dominant conference for sure.
You think so? You think it's gonna take over the NFC? I mean, AFC got some tough divisions. Like I said, I mean,
I'm sorry, AFC. My apologies. AFC. My apologies.
Yeah, no,
AFC.
you said AFC. You said AFC
okay.
is becoming more of a dominant division because I think that the NFC was better. I mean, they had the worst division in football with the NFC East, but I think that they also had the best division in football with the NFC West at the time. But the AFC North is going to be pretty tough with Pittsburgh, Cleveland.
Oh my goodness.
The Steelers could be pretty good. We'll see what happens with the Bengals. Our division, I think that's going to be a tough division. I think Miami got better. The Bills are already pretty good. We got better. We're going to have guys coming back from injury, or not injury, but COVID, as well as some injury stuff, the draft and whatnot. And of course, free agency. We had a crazy free agency.
Yeah.
The
quick question.
AFC, what's up?
Who are your top 5 best defenses in the league? Not in any order, just pick the top 5. Like
top 5 defenses. Oh, yeah. Easily Tampa Bay. I go Tampa Bay number 1, but I keep naming defenses. I'll go San Francisco. They had a crap ton of injuries, but if they can come back from injury, I think San Francisco will be top 5. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens with Sherm. Yeah, that's true.
My thing is Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Ravens, yes. Cleveland, like all of those are in one like conference. And then we're not even mentioning the Broncos now get stout. The Chargers looking good again now that they're healthy. Like so many of these teams are getting healthy, it seems like, in the AFC. And it seems like everybody wants, oh, goodness. I mean, you can never count out Belichick. He's never going to have a top 5 defense, but he'll be good. The Dolphins, man, Brian Flores is a phenomenal coach.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Dolphins. They might look good. I don't know. I think we can take them this year. I think we can finish second in the AFC. I think we'll finish top 2, whether it be first
Mac
or
Jones,
second.
Baby. Mac Jones.
Well, maybe Cam Newton for this year. Cam Newton, another year under his belt. He finally got some weapons, bro. We finally get some weapons. Brady left the Patriots because it was nobody to throw to. He was like, I'm not 100%. Doing this. I'm 40.
100%.
All right. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Isn't he 41 now?
Yeah, he's like 43 now, dude. He's like 42, 43. Yeah.
This dude out here playing, he's basically my dad.
Slick. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
It's insane. But yeah, dude, I think that it's going to be a lot of good football teams this year. I'm super excited to see it. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens with the Broncos. Depending on what type of quarterback play, because y'all do have a fantastic defense. Like, obviously, y'all were riddled with some injuries this year, but year before last, great defense, no QB. This year, injuries, pretty good defense, no QB. This year, like this coming up year,
yeah,
probably gonna be a really good defense. I don't see a QB.
So, we have the potential to be top 5 or bottom 5. We are
indeed.
Yeah.
Y'all like the early 2000s Houston Rockets, or no, the late 2000s Houston Rockets, where you got James Harden. You're like, are we gonna finish in the playoffs, or are we gonna be in the bottom of the league? Okay, bottom of the league. Here we are.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. I guess who would be your sleeper teams for this year's NFL?
In the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
I am in agreement with you. I don't think they have the chance to win this season because of everything that happened with the draft. But to make a big run and to put like a stamp on it, the 49ers they have from top to bottom a phenomenal roster. They really do. And I mean, hopefully Nick Bosa's back healthy and all that can look good. But last year I think there was a stat that went around, and don't quote me on it, but it was something like that 30% of their roster at one point was injured. That is an insane number. Like they started, I can't even remember who they started at receiver one game. They had one game, they had a dude come in, Richie James. That's who it was. Richie James started at receiver one night and put up 180 yards against Green Bay. Like that is literally Kyle Shanahan. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Shanahan is a phenomenal offensive coach. And if they have the defense, I will say they took a huge hit in losing Robert Saleh going to the Jets. He is a phenomenal defensive coach. But just pure sleepers, I really, depending on how the quarterback play is, I really think Indianapolis is phenomenal. I do. As much as I hate to say it. I think that the Browns, they're not so much of a sleeper anymore. I don't think they can win it. I'm a firm believer that you need a elite quarterback to win in this NFL, and I don't believe in Baker. Tampa Bay, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a sleeper team this year, though. That's the problem. Tampa Bay brought back everybody, literally every single player on their roster. If Brady plays just like he did last year, which is obviously in the cards because it's Tom Brady, he has probably another decade left before he decides to retire. And they're going to be hard to beat. I mean, Kansas City, man, everybody was calling them stupid for trading and cutting their offensive line, but their offensive line looks beautiful now. You can never count out Mahomes.
I think Atlanta's going to be – I think that they'll be good this year. If you look at the games in which they lost by one score or less, I think that they have like a 12-4 record if you just flip those turns. So Atlanta, I think that they're going to be good. Obviously, with the addition of Kyle Pitts, we'll see if Julio stays healthy. And then Calvin Ridley, like that's a dope-ass receiving core. Holy smokes.
No, for sure. I will say, I will put my stamp on it right now. I do believe Julio is traded before the season starts.
Ooh.
I think that
hopefully to the Patriots.
Gone. Man, one of the other ones that he was projected to go to is the Titans. Imagine that.
Oh, man.
A.J. Brown and Julio on the outside with
I'm not
Derrick
a huge
Henry.
fan of Tannehill. He's decent, but I think he'll get the ball to him.
Good Lord, though, you can't stack the box. Like, who are you going to – I mean –
oh, my God, yes. Derrick Henry.
Yeah, like, are we going Derrick Henry 3K this year? Like, if that happens, then good luck. They're going to be one of the most unstoppable teams. I thought about it. I'm going to mark it right now. Dallas. I think Dallas, offensively, they are supreme. I think they're supreme offense defense or offense of team. They took every single pick as a defensive pick this year in the draft. I think that they are going to return to a semi-good defense, not elite by any means, but I think their offense will be – I think they're going to be a lot like that Atlanta team that went to the Super Bowl. A very decent defensive team, but a supremely good offensive team.
Okay.
And I think that is going to –
I like no, finish your thought.
I was just I don't see many teams keeping up with them points wise.
Yeah. We'll see how they go because like Dak before he went down, I think he was on pace for like 6,500 yards or something ridiculous like that before
I need him
down.
in fantasy.
And also one other team, I think that the Saints, depending on what they get out of Jameis and or their other quarterback, who's the other backup? My boy comes in, Taysom Hill. Depending on how they get what quarterback play they get out of them, they might be good because they have good stuff surrounding those guys. Decent to good offensive line. Obviously, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas. They got guys in the top 3, top 5 in their position. And then their defense was really good. They lost a couple pieces. I know they lost Trey Hendrickson from their defense. Yeah, they did. But if it's still decently good, I think that they'll be battling, Atlanta or Tampa Bay for, those top spots. I think Tampa Bay still wins that division. So yeah, they'll be fighting with Atlanta for the second spot. Yeah, Tampa Bay is really good. I think they'll go back. Obviously, I've
seen a I've been thinking about this for a while. Have you seen a better roster in the NFL in the history of the NFL? Like if you looked at names, just going down that roster. I mean, for goodness sake, They have Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown if he comes back. OJ Howard was hurt the whole year, but he is an athletic freak. Gronk as their other tight end. And then in their backfield, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette. They signed Giovanni Bernard. You have Tom Brady. You have a top 5 offensive line. And then to make matters worse, your defense literally looks like an all-star team from about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They are just
they
stacked.
do have a fantastic roster. Some rosters I'd throw at you though. The Broncos 2013, 2014 roster,
like
somewhere in that area. They were really good. The 49ers from like 2012, 2013, their roster was stacked. The Patriots roster, like 2011, whenever we had Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski, we had some solid. We were pretty good back. So yeah, it has, but they do have one of the best rosters, just top to bottom, just stacked.
And I feel like most of them are in their prime. That's the other aspect. Yeah,
a lot of young pieces, a lot of good young pieces on that defense. Like it's like a good veteran offensive squad, but some young guys that are really, really good on defense, like Levante David and their other running back.
And they also
linebackers. Yeah.
They have Ndamukong Suh. Like they have veteran leadership on the other side. And man, I'll tell you what, they had they're all dogs. Like I don't throw around that term lightly because I don't necessarily believe in it. But their defense is literally they love to hit. They want to hit you. They want to hit you hard. They remind me of a better, not as good of a secondary, but a better upfront team as those Seahawks teams, the 12th man teams.
Yeah.
Their secondary is not as good, obviously, but up front, the pass rush, oh my goodness, they love hitting QBs with a passion.
Facts. Absolutely. All right. Well, that's some football talk. We want to move over to some basketball.
Love it.
Let's do it. Okay, the Pelicans. So, are you a New Orleans Pelicans fan, just straight out, or did you like the Pelicans from like watching a player and then decided to stay with the Pelicans? How did you become a Pelicans fan?
Yeah, so try to make this quick. I never really had a team. My dad and my parents were Grizzlies fans, and I never really got along with the Grizzly style of play. The Grizzly style of play has remained the same over the years. The whole grit and grind thing. I've always been more of like an up tempo person in basketball. I love offense. And so I went to hundreds of games growing up probably. And I rooted for them, but I never claimed them as my team. And then when I got probably about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. One day I was like, you know what? I need to pick a team because 15, 20 years down the line, I want to root for my team every year. I want to do this. And New Orleans is my favorite city in the world. I love it to death. I was a huge fan of Anthony Davis coming out. I loved his game. I loved the unibrow. I always did. And I started watching the Pelicans games, and I really fell in love with the Pelicans teams those years. And honestly, it just kept going. And then at first, whenever AD got traded, I was like, man, previously I'd follow my favorite players. And so I just started rooting for, but I was like, I can't do that. And then luckily ended up with Zion and Brandon and Zoe, and fell in love with our young core. And I could not be happier. I love my Pelicans team. I think that, have a big future ahead of us if we make some corrections here and there. But yeah, that is how I became a New Orleans Pelicans fan.
Right on. Okay, so Anthony Davis fan. I mean, real quick, how do you feel about the way that he left? And you said that you love the young core. So do you feel like that was a somewhat even trade for what y'all got back?
So we did not get that number 1 pick from Anthony Davis. That number 1 pick was from the lottery for Zion. I am a firm believer there is no equal value for a top 5 player. You will never, ever, ever, ever get equal value unless it's another top 5 player. And so, but nobody does that. Nobody trades James Harden for Anthony Davis, like any of those players. Like you don't do it. It's always young pieces, picks, like all that type of stuff. I think we got the best we possibly could. I really do. I think that Anthony Davis, when he left, was easily, in my opinion, a top 5 player. That man was putting up 30, 32 points a night, 13 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, just dominant on both ends. And it was hard to see him go because it was like, damn, that there goes my favorite player, and there goes like our chances of like doing anything. But then I always liked Brandon Ingram on the Lakers and started watching a lot more of them. I fell in love with Brandon even when Zion was hurt that first year, and became a huge Brandon Ingram fan. I've been following Lonzo since Chino Hills. I mean, good Lord, I still remember all those full court passes where his Melo put up, or not Melo, Melo put up like 100 points in a game. It's insane. But I do think that we got as close as value as we could have.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I know Greg Popovich was like, dude, don't trade him to the Lakers, bro. Which y'all just want to create dynasties. Like, don't do that. But they did the right thing in fleecing them. Like, if I'm trading a great player like that, I am fleecing the other team. I want everything. I want the pants, the draws.
Everything.
I want your socks. I want all of it. I guess Houston Rockets couldn't learn that lesson in there.
I was about to say
whatever.
that same thing. What was that trade, man?
Who folks got Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley ultimately?
And I hate the people who are Kelly Olynyk stands now who sit there and say, "Oh, my dude averaging like 24 and 7. Awesome.
And
Very
James
nice." Yeah. James Harden was averaging what, like 50 and 20?
24 and 7 is an off night for James Harden, which, funny enough, I think that's what he's averaging on the Brooklyn Nets. But obviously, I'm talking about Houston Rockets, James Harden. That was a down night. But yeah, okay. So let's talk about your young core. So Lonzo, his issue, he had like shooting issues, but he's shooting better from 3 now, about 37, 38%. He's still having issues at the free throw line, though. I mean, I think he's shooting sub 70. It's not great. A lot of people are talking about Lonzo possibly being traded from the Pelicans. How do you feel about that?
It's something that I've thought about obviously a lot this year, especially around the trade deadline when we were questioning on trading him. It's a very tricky situation. I think Lonzo is a phenomenal player. I think Lonzo, and this may be a hot take, I think Lonzo is a top 5 passer in the game. I really do. I think he can make any pass you want on the court. I think he has the supreme height advantage over most point guards, the length, everything about it. I think he's phenomenal. I think he has developed his shot to where he's easily hitting, I think, like, what was it, 30? I remember for like a 2-month stretch, he was hitting 43% of threes. And they're not just catch and shoots. So it's very tough. However, with all that being said, he does not fit well with Brandon Ingram. And we just invested 5 years and $150 million into Brandon Ingram. So with that being said, I think he's gone. I'm sad about that, but I do think it's the truth. And I also think that our team will be in a really weird place because in order for us to take the next step, Brandon or Zion has to become the main ball handler. One of those two. Just like Giannis, just like Kevin Durant's a little bit of a unicorn when it comes to it because he's just such a great catch and shoot that like you can
everything, a great everything.
Yeah. Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. But all those players, like, I still think personally that is why the Clippers are struggling now. With all the talent they have on that team, I think because of the reason Kawhi is not the main ball handler is the reason they are losing. He has not taken that step into his next elite tier. And I'm a firm believer. I think this is something that I've always believed. Michael Jordan is the GOAT, in my opinion. I am not going to get mad at anybody else for saying anything otherwise. And Michael Jordan was in the era where those people really didn't play point guard. But the offenses were run through those players. The offenses were the triangle, run through Michael Jordan. Like, it was all to get Michael and his teammates better shots. And I feel like nowadays it's so much more ISO, so much more not necessarily calling plays and running schemes. It's more of, hey, go get me a bucket. And I feel like in that go get me a bucket era, you need your best player to be the main ball handler because he draws so much attention, and you need to surround him with shooters.
Yeah. Okay. So for Lonzo, you would like to see what type of players traded for him? Because I will say this. Y'all did have JJ Redick. Now, he did not play his best in the New Orleans Pelicans uniform, which even in interviews or on this podcast, he said he didn't really want to be there. I think as soon as he got there, he told David Griffin he wanted to get traded somewhere else. But what type of players would you get for Lonzo? Lonzo's a great defender. He's long, he's lean, he can knock down some threes. But yeah, what kind of player would you like to see get traded for Lonzo?
So, it's very funny because when around the trade deadline, some of the best fits, in my opinion, for our team minus Lonzo. So if you take our team with Brandon and Zion going forward, who would fit in that third slot very well? I thought Zach LaVine would fit phenomenal. I thought he would be a instant, just because I think Zach LaVine is a very underrated playmaker. I think he would be a point guard. And honestly, I am going to say this right now. I would not be surprised if in the next 3 years, Brandon Ingram is traded because of how he fits with Zion. It's so forced. Brandon is not a great catch and shoot player. And now in this NBA, you can't have two of those people on the same team. And Zion, for as much credit as I think that dude deserves, man, he is not a catch and shoot person. He's not a shoot person. He is a layup person right now. And he's working on it, and that's phenomenal. But until he gets to that point, it's going to be hard for us to succeed with Brandon and Zion both needing to be ball dominant. Now, granted, Zion not as much because he makes plays off hustle. He makes plays off athleticism. But especially Zion or Brandon. I would also say another name that has come to mind in the recent days, Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown, I don't think they'd get rid of him. But I also could see that being a very good fit for both teams because Jaylen Brown's also in the same sort of stratosphere as the Celtics, kind of too much talent is kind of what the Celtics have been dealing with. Like they have too many players to feed. And I think that it's switching those out and giving Tatum an actual point guard would be phenomenal for him because Kemba is a scoring guard. He's a shooting guard playing the point guard's position. But insert Jaylen Brown in our system with maybe Zion controlling the ball, I think it'd be phenomenal. I think Jaylen's a phenomenal shooter, and I think that it would be a devastating big three.
All right, so for Jaylen Brown being on the Pelicans, that would be an interesting pick. That would be an interesting big three if it were Jaylen Brown, Brandon Ingram, and Zion. But what I think about with these big threes, like the third guy always has to take some type of a backseat.
100%.
I think that it would be best if y'all did have some type of elite guard to feed Zion and Brandon Ingram, but not saying that he's elite. I mean, Lonzo is a serviceable point guard, but it's not really working out with him. Would you feel more comfortable possibly trading Brandon Ingram for a guy? Maybe if you had kept Lonzo, kept Zion, and traded Brandon Ingram for a Jaylen Brown, maybe that would work better because Jaylen Brown is too good to be a third guy.
I agree.
he could damn near be a first guy. Like, I'm not sure if he win a championship
he
being
should.
the first guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's really freaking good, man.
He reminds me of Bradley Beal 2.0. I think he is going to be a phenomenal scorer in the NBA for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, what about Bradley Beal? What if y'all traded Brandon Ingram for Bradley Beal?
You know,
Lonzo Ingram Beal. Or Lonzo Zion Beal.
Yeah, that is very deadly. I will tell you that. 100%. My whole thing is I just don't think that's done in the next. We just signed him last summer to his 5-year massive super mega deal. He is not going to be traded 1 year in this is Zion's first year healthy. I think the other aspect, I think we could go a different way. One thing that I have started seeing that I think would be a phenomenal fit, and it's very sad to say because he's been very injury prone over his career, and especially this year. You know who, if I had to implant one player other than like obviously like a Jokic or something, but like a star who's not a superstar on our team that I think would be phenomenal fit,
Kristaps.
Give us, and this is why I'm telling you right here. I've watched 93 to 95% of the Pelicans games. Zion always gets double teamed and sometimes triple teamed by Steven Adams' defender. Steven cannot stretch the floor.
No.
But he's a phenomenal rebounder, like big body. You're almost nobody's stronger than Steven in the league. But if you had Kristaps out there in the corner, you can't. I mean, if you leave him, that's fine. He'll shoot 44% from open threes in the corner all year. Yeah. So I was really intrigued by the Lowry market. I heard speculation about us trading Zoe for Lowry. And I was very intrigued by that because he kind of reminds me of that, not as well as a defender, obviously, as like a rim protector, but a very, very lethal shooter. So that is also something that I am intrigued by with the Pelicans moving forward.
No, I was about to say that, like, at this point, is Steven Adams basically unplayable? Because Zion, as we have mentioned, I'm not sure if we mentioned this in the podcast, just me and you talking, but leads the league in points, in points in the paint, leads the league in like field goal attempts in the paint, and obviously Steven Adams can't hit anything from outside like 7 feet. So his man
maybe like 4
there, right? Exactly. If Zion is getting 80% of his shots from the restricted area, Steven Adams is getting like 90% of his shots from the restricted area. I mean, we watch playoff games where he's been basically open, maybe 10 feet from the basket, literally not even looking at the basket, just looking to pass the 100%. Ball. So Steven Adams and Zion Williamson on the same team, not a great fit at all. I do like the idea of getting like a stretch 4, stretch 5 guy like a Lauri Markkanen or Kristaps Porzingis type player. Not saying specifically Kristaps, because unfortunately, you know what's crazy to me? He was the first guy that we deemed like unicorn, which I think Kevin Durant was the person that named him that. And this, whenever we start using those names for guys, and he's the worst. He's the worst of the unicorns because he can't freaking stay on the court.
To me, Dirk was the first unicorn. Dirk was the 7-footer who could, and I think a lot of people don't give enough credit to Dirk because Dirk was like, everybody saying he scored his own. That man Dirk had some serious like rebounding skills too. I know that he's 7 foot, so obviously that comes with the nature. But you see 7-footers nowadays not even average 10 rebounds, and
he was a decent rebounder for whenever he wanted to, he wanted to rebound.
Exactly. But you know, it's funny that you mentioned the whole Steven Adams unplayable thing. I actually went to the Grizzlies Pelicans game 2 days ago, and you know who played phenomenally and he's been playing really well this year when he gets the chance? Jackson Hayes.
Jackson, yeah, I thought you was about to say that. Go ahead.
Jackson has he went 3 for 3 on Monday night from threes. Granted, they're all open, 100%. That's what we need. Like, literally, we lost by 5 points without Josh Hart, Steven Adams, Zion and Brandon Ingram, when they played every single player, they had Jaren, Jonas, like they had everybody, and it was a road game. They played, I'm telling you this right now, with how well Nickeil Alexander-Walker has played, Lonzo's out. Lonzo is done as a Pelican. I hate to admit it, he's gone. And I also will say, I think Steven could be gone sooner than later because of Jackson Hayes' development. He has just become a phenomenal just player in general.
Yeah, I'm with it. So I guess question about y'all's team. I guess we'll start with the coach. We'll start with the coach and we'll move on to some other things. Alvin Gentry, I think that he had Anthony Davis for like his last year, but Anthony Davis basically quit on him before he went to the next team.
100%.
And then with Zion and whatnot, like they played okay once Zion started getting his legs under him. They went to the bubble, shit the bed. And then Gentry
100%.
ends up getting fired. I'm not saying that Alvin Gentry was a great coach by any means. I don't think that he got a fair shake at it because I think all the years that he was there, like it was just a messed up situation. So move on to Stan Van Gundy. Do you think that this is an improvement or no?
I think this is it's a different style of coaching. Alvin Gentry, for what he is, phenomenal human being. It seems like he's so much a player's coach. He wants to be friends. He wants to be like, he wants you to know he's for you. And Stan Van Gundy is the exact opposite. He is, he consistently throws the Pelicans players under the bus. He's in press conferences doing, how like most coaches say, we didn't play well tonight. He quotes, they did not play well tonight to his own team. Like, I'm not necessarily with that. I do think it's kind of one of those things that Alvin offered a bunch of things that I don't necessarily think would translate to winning. I think he is, you're correct. He did not get a fair shake, and he did the best he absolutely could. But I'm sorry, you are not going anywhere with just Brandon Ingram and Drew Holiday. Like, you're not. Like, Zion was hurt. He is very unfair. Now, the bubble situation, I think that's truly why he got fired, was the whole bubble. And honestly, if you want to say, if management wants to say that's why we fired you was because of how y'all played in the bubble, I can't disagree with it. Because of that, it was tragic. It was absolutely terrible. But I do think that Stan Van Gundy will not last. I don't think he can coach in this day's NBA, if I'm being honest. Like,
how long do we give him a chance? Like, I know it's hard. It's hard to come in 1 year, immediately make an impact as a coach because you have to implement a culture and people have to learn your schemes and everything. But like, how long do you give a guy like that? Or just if you even think that he's the wrong coach, if you hire a guy, you think he's the right coach, you see real fast that he's the wrong coach, but you still got to kind of give him time. How long do you last? Do you give him 1 year? Do you give him 2 years?
Yeah.
How long do you give him a chance?
The funny thing is, the biggest problem I have with Stan Van Gundy, and it's Stan Van Gundy's over usage of Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe may be the most overpaid player in the NBA for what he's actually doing. Like, when you look at it in the sense of, like, I'm not saying he's making Steph Curry, Dame Lillard money, but I'm saying, like, what he brings to the table, oh my goodness, he's supposed to be the veteran in the locker room. He's 30 years old now. He's supposed to be the smart one. And I'm telling you this, I think he makes more of the dumb plays than anybody. He sat there and lost. In Monday night's game against the Grizzlies, he lost a backdoor cut 3 times in the first half. 3 times. You're going to tell me a 30-year-old veteran is going to lose a backdoor cut 3 times and cause 3 open layups? No. And the problem I have with Van Gundy, Nickeil Alexander-Walker will be playing phenomenal. He'll have 15 points in the first 3 quarters. He'll be in there for the start of the fourth for like the first 4 minutes. And then Stan will take him out for an Eric Bledsoe who has played tragically. And he's not even good at defense anymore. He'll consistently get beat off the dribble. He doesn't seem to care. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's him not caring to be there. But that is the biggest problem I have with Stan, is that he consistently puts in bad rotations over and over and over again. But I think if we have another season like this season, next year, he'll be gone. I don't think they're going to – it's playoffs or he's gone next year, 100%.
Yeah, I feel that. So, I mean, looking at the numbers for the Pelicans right now, you got 31 and 38. Points per game, 8th in the league. Field goal percentage, 7th. And I think that comes from, you know, having an unstoppable force in Zion Williamson.
Mr.
As well
62%.
Right, exactly. As well as Brandon Ingram, who's amazing, just a really good scorer. 3rd in rebounds, top 10 in assists. Not too great on the turnover range, but looking at y'all's wins, like how y'all did in wins versus how y'all did in losses. 120 points in wins, 110 points in losses. 50% field goal in wins, 46% field goal in losses, 38% from 3 in wins, 31% in losses, 50 rebounds to 44, 27 assists to 25. Y'all are a plus 12 in wins. So y'all basically blowing out teams in the wins, but then a -9 in the losses. What do you think causes that disparity? Do you think that is whenever you're playing better teams? Do you think it's like a coaching issue? Like, what's going on?
You know, you put up some like actually very like real numbers right there, because it you can watch all the games and not look at the numbers and see a total different picture. I think we struggle a lot from what and honestly, I'm going to say this team, and it may be a lot more other teams, but this team, just because, you know, I live in Memphis and I see them a lot, but the Grizzlies over the last couple of years has struggled very much in not showing up for the bad teams, like not giving it their best, not just thinking they can beat the bad teams, and they played the hell out of the good teams. And if you look at the Pelicans, man, we do the same. We have beaten we have blown out the Clippers twice. And Paul George and Kawhi played. We beat them by 20 in a row, by 22 times this year.
Yeah.
Like, that is not – we beat the Jazz before, when they were on their hot streak before the All-Star break. I remember that game. Zion put up like 38. Like, we beat good teams in this league, but then we'll go lose by 20 to the Kings. I mean, it's one of those things. And that, to me, goes back to coaching. You are not going to tell me that that's coaching, and that's, to me, the veteran leadership, a.k.a. Eric Bledsoe. That is what that is to me. I could be completely wrong, but I just don't think that we show up for the teams that we don't consider equal talent. I think, and Zion is a big part of that. Zion, as much as I give him credit for, he needs to take a massive step on defense. He could be so much better of a defender than he is. And rebounding. I don't care what anybody says. The man, it's not terrible numbers, averaging 7.6 rebounds a game or something like that. But he should be averaging 11, 12.
So you want him to be Charles Barkley.
If Barkley averaged 14, I need you to give me double digits, man. Like, it's ridiculous, the fact that he does not see. I need Russell Westbrook to teach him the act of aggressive rebounding, because I don't see a lot of the times Zion, it just looks like he loses effort, like he loses his will to do things unless he has the ball in his hand.
Do you think that Zion will ever be like a leader of the team? Because, I mean, I didn't really watch him in like high school, whatever. I wasn't even sure if he was good. I just saw this dude that was just constantly dunking on people. I realized he was good in college because he was just moving people. We learned that he was like 300 pounds and moving that fast. I was like, okay, this dude can be good because you can't really stop it. And then once he got to the NBA, obviously he was 250, 280 and moving. I saw a highlight of him dunking, or went up against Steven Adams, obviously one of the strongest guys in the league. Whenever Steven Adams was okay, see, just move Steven Adams out of the way, got his layup. I was like, oh, this dude is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But on his college team, I don't really feel like he was like the leader, or at least the vocal leader of that team. Of course, number one is Mike Krzyzewski, because the coaches have the power in college. But even on this team, I don't really see him as like that vocal leader. Do you think that he'll ever be that guy or grow into that guy, or will it have to be like another person before he becomes that?
That's a very, very tricky question, because I feel like it's almost, you never know outside of like those like the all-time greats, like outside of like, maybe someone could tell from Michael Jordan his rookie year, Kobe his rookie year. I mean, we forget this man has played 84 games in the NBA. 84. That's it. Like, I guess the short answer to the question is, I see him more of a very similar to Giannis. I don't think Giannis is the leader on that team. I don't. I don't think he is. I think he reminds me so similar of Giannis because of the fact they are both perceived as the nice giants, basically the gentle giants, if you will. Like they both flex, they both like get like mean faces, but you're not going to sit there and think that if a story came out today and said Giannis was out here talking about some dude's mom, you would be like, that's cap. That's not true. And I think that is very similar. And I think that it is going to be a problem in the future, because I don't think he will ever be the so-called like vocal leader of the team. I really don't. I think, and that is why I think Brandon needs to take the next step, because I think Brandon, even though and I use a very good example, those Warriors teams, we can all admit Kevin Durant was easily the best player. I don't think that's up for debate. I mean, no offense to Steph Curry, you are an all-time great. You are, in my opinion,
obviously,
already a top 10 player in the history of the NBA, and that's my personal opinion.
Whoa.
I know. I know. He's about 10 to me, about right on the bridge. But he was the leader of that team. He was. Kevin Durant was not the leader of the team. It was him and Draymond. That's why when Kevin Durant sat out, they still won 90% of their games. And that's why when Steph Curry sat out, they lost like half of their games. So that is where it's going to be a little tricky. We need to find Zion's Batman, because I do think he is a very, very good Robin. In fact, he may be the best Robin in the history of Robins when you look at it. But I don't think he's Batman. I don't. I think he needs a dominant personality, if you will. One of those, like, I see Scottie Pippen mentality in Zion, not Jordan mentality.
Yeah, no, we'll see how he develops as such. Maybe he needs to get in the gym. Maybe he needs to grab some more rebounds, need some more aggression. Yeah, but that's it. Do you have any more thoughts on your Pelicans team and the unfortunate disappointment that they were this year? I had them getting in the playoffs, man.
That's a nice way of putting it. No, I don't have any more comments on the Pelicans. I think that, time will tell. I do have one thing. I think it's time we put some respect on Russell Westbrook's name.
Oh, dude, we can get into it, because we were going to talk some all NBA. I got him on one of my teams.
Oh my goodness, man. I'm tired of him getting shit on. There are people all over saying, oh, triple doubles don't translate to winning. Bullshit, it doesn't. This man, you realize there was a stat that came out. It was like 90% of the time that the games he got a triple double in this year, they won. 90.
Yeah. Yeah, I think his overall record is like 186 and no, it wasn't 186. It was like 100 something games and like 46.
Yeah.
Like the team record. whenever he gets a triple-double.
You know how impressive it is, let alone the 18 rebounds as a 6'3" guard.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Getting 20 assists. It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Absolutely
he's
phenomenal.
an amazing freak athlete. I think Zach and I were talking. Oh no, on the last pod with me, Zach, and Christian, we were talking about Scott Brooks saying that Russell Westbrook was the second best point guard of all time. I don't think that he's the second best point guard, but I think that he can find himself in between like 4 and 10, just depending on what you like in your point guard. I think
who's
he
your
can
first
be as
four
high
then?
as like 4. My
Obviously,
number
Magic.
1, obviously. My number 2, I would put Steph Curry at number 2.
I agree.
And my number 3, I would go with Isaiah Thomas. That's my number 3.
That's a great 3. That's my 3 too. Fantastic.
Yeah. 3. And then my number 4, like I said, I could put a lot of guys. I really, really have to think about my list, but I think Russell Westbrook could definitely be as high as 4.
Okay, question, because my 4 right now, before Russell Westbrook, is either Kidd or Nash.
Kidd or Nash?
Do you think Russell Westbrook is better than either one of those? Not like better as a player, but do you think in like all-time great point guards, do you think he is currently past either one of them?
So let's talk about some of their accolades. Nash, I would put a CP3 over Nash. Now, CP3, he doesn't have the MVPs, obviously, but I think for a point guard, if I wanted a point guard, a guy who can run my offense, score, play defense as well, I would take a CP3 over a Steve Nash. That's just me. Steve Nash was transcendent on offense, obviously. With the Jason Kidd made it to the finals twice leading his team. Insane. Yeah. The NBA wasn't as strong. The East specifically wasn't as strong whenever he did that, but still, that's an accomplishment and a half right there. So I could, with Russell Westbrook and his athletic talent, what he's done, what he is doing, I could put him over them. Yeah, I could see myself putting him over them.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about Stockton.
Stockton's really good as well. I mean, it just depends on what you want for your point guard.
Goodness, yeah, no, 100%. I mean, and honestly, we're going to be getting to the point very, very soon that some people, if they continue to point him as a point guard, people were mentioning James Harden.
Yeah, James Harden as well. Heck yeah.
Also, Dame. He will be if Dame makes it to the finals. He doesn't even have to win. He makes it to the finals. He's vaulted in my top 7. Easy.
I'm with that. I definitely have him top 7, top 10 if he can make it to a finals. Definitely. What about Gary Payton? I have him ranked higher. I would take Gary Payton over a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Gary Payton was a really good offensive player. I mean, he wouldn't give you 25, but he could give you 20. I think his average is like 16, 18 a game, and he's the glove. Probably the best defensive point guard of all time.
Hands down.
So he's great, and he can knock down a long ball as well. He didn't win a championship as like the number 1, number 2 guy, but he still won. He won one in Miami, and he knew how to make the game work. Just like a Jason Kidd, he won his ring with the Mavericks, but he knew how to work the game. So,
and those supersonic teams were actually really good too.
Really freaking good.
Sean Kemp, like, oh my goodness, they were really damn good, man, and he was definitely the leader of those teams.
Yep, Jordan downplays it, but he held Jordan to shooting like 40% in that series.
Did. And like, that's something. Let me tell you that. Yeah, let me tell you that. They didn't win, but let me tell you, he did do a damn good job, almost as good a job as anybody can do.
Absolutely. So Russell Westbrook, those would be the guys that we just mentioned. Those would be the guys that he would be competing with as far as where he would land on the point guard list. Like I said, I don't have a solid list for him yet, but I think that he could be as high as 4, but definitely like top 10. I kick some dudes out to make him top 10. You know?
I already think he's top 10. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm with you. He's not going to be. I think I can confidently say this right now. He's not going to be higher than Magic. Wow. Oh my goodness, I just completely blanked. Magic,
Curry and
Curry,
Zeke.
yeah, Curry and good Lord, Isaiah.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not going to be any of those. Isaiah is one of the most underrated players of all time. He is phenomenal. He led those teams. He led them.
Facts.
And
yeah,
I don't think he'll beat any of those, but yeah, I think he can definitely get up to 4.
Yeah, I'm with that. Well, dude, let's talk about some of the great players of today. Let's talk about some of the great players of this year. All NBA teams. Did you make a list of your all NBA teams, or you want me to go off mine and you can critique?
Yeah, I have mine too. So I have mine in my head.
Sweet.
I don't have it written down, but I can mine.
Sweet. All right. Well, then let's go first team. And since you are the guest, I will let you do the honors.
Okay, thank you. Didn't they change the center rule this year? You can have 2.
Yep. Yeah, not necessarily that you can have 2 centers, but they have it where Jokic counts as a center forward and Embiid counts as a center forward, which Jokic is a center forward. Embiid is a center. So they just made some guys be able to go to various spots. Like Luka, he can count as a guard or forward. They said that Devin Booker could count as a guard or forward. Paul George could count as a guard or forward. So they just like mixed up some of the spots to make it fit, you know?
Okay. And there's 2 forward per spot. There's correct me. There's a point guard or 2 guards,
2 guards,
forwards,
and
2
not
guards
2
and
forwards
3
in the
big
center, but 3 forwards. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I am gonna go. I think personally, Embiid and Jokic is easy as 2 of my 2 big men. I think that's pretty damn easy. I'm gonna go CP3 and Curry as my guards.
Okay.
And, this is something that has kind of changed recently. But because of injuries to LeBron, because of injuries to Kevin Durant, to and I don't think Kawhi's had his best season, give me Julius Randle.
You're taking Julius Randle over Giannis Antetokounmpo for the first team.
Oh, I forgot about Giannis. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. My bad. I knew I was forgetting somebody. No, you're right. My bad. That was bad. If I would have, yeah. No, Giannis. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. My first team is somewhat similar. I went with Stephen Curry. Jokic and Embiid are Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, and Steph. We have in common. The one that I put in for my first team, I put in Luka Doncic as my other guard. I could have put him in as a forward, but I chose to put him in at guard. I mean, his numbers are pretty much undeniable, and the Mavericks are like top 5. Moving on to second team, I'll start off the second team. I got Damian Lillard, Chris Paul. Chris Paul, obviously, his numbers are pretty good, but what he's done for this Phoenix team, crazy. Damian Lillard, he's been playing absolutely great. His team, he's been carrying the team with CJ and Nurkic hurt, carrying the team whenever he gets hurt and not doing as well. So, dang, second team. Julius Randle, Kawhi Leonard, and Rudy Gobert are my 3 forwards.
Okay. Real quick, just I don't know, are you planning on going over like our differences like after?
Yeah, or you can name them. You can do whatever.
Just because of I want to make my case for CP3. Man, that team is literally aren't they like right now the number 1 in the NBA?
I believe that they are. No, I think that they're right behind the Jazz.
Are they? Okay.
I can look it up real fast, but yeah,
they definitely were at one point in the past like couple weeks number 1 in the NBA.
Yeah, they were number 1.
That is insane. I know that the and also I think not enough credit is given to Monty Williams. But I think that everywhere CP3 goes just gets phenomenally better. And I think that because the other aspect of that, even in those playing games last year for the bubble, they went 8-0 or whatever. they played really well overall. But I also feel like they also got not everybody's like best. I feel like everybody was kind of cruising through those games, those 8 playing like games. But this year, man, they have I think stats probably like they're probably what top 5 defense, like pretty
Yeah, they're a
easily.
really good defense. Yeah.
And that's literally CP3 because the damn Rockets were like a top 5 defense that year whenever he was healthy the whole year. And like I think for my case, I just think he deserves it. And I think that Luka, I think that team underachieved this year personally. But going into the second team, I agree with Dame hands down. I think if Dame would have made a little bit more of a push, and if Dame would have made a little bit more of like a difference, he would be right in the MVP conversation for me. And he's just slightly missed it. But I definitely have Dame, and I have obviously from my last mistaken identity, I have Julius Randle as a forward as well. And I am going to go with my other guard. You know, that's really tough. That's really, really tough. But I'd probably give it to Luka. I don't feel great about it. Let me ask you this: is Kawhi considered a guard, or is he only a forward?
I think he's only a forward.
Okay, I'll give it to Luka. I think Luka is a easy great talent. I think he's put up numbers this year, but I don't think his numbers really mean a lot this year to me. But you know, I can't deny the fact. And then I'm going to go with, as my other 2 forwards, Kawhi, and I'll give it to Rudy Gobert for sure. I think that, you know, if we would have had a little bit better of a record, I think Zion is definitely in that argument. I think he's definitely going to be on my third team. But I also think that I'm going to put this out there. Pre-injury over CP3, hands down, is oh my goodness, why am I forgetting about his name? Donovan Mitchell.
Mitchell? Okay.
Donovan was having a phenomenal year. And actually, take me off of Gobert. I'm throwing it as my forward as Jason Tatum.
You gonna throw in Tatum? Okay.
Tatum, yeah.
All right, that's cool. So let's see. Yeah, no, I'm with it. I feel you. Gobert, man, I do have Gobert over Tatum. We'll get to Tatum. I'm getting there. All right, third team. I'll let you go first for third team.
Okay. Third team to me is kind of like it's very simple. I do have Gobert. I can't let him fall any further. Like, as much as, you know, I'm not the greatest. I'm definitely not the biggest Gobert fan. I think he's this generation's a little bit improved DeAndre Jordan. But, you know, I do think
the disrespect.
Man, I'm telling you, I am not the biggest Gobert fan, but I do
think
agree.
He's this generation's Dikembe Mutombo.
I think there's a fine line between Mutombo and DeAndre. I'm joking. Okay, I'll give it to him. Third team, easy. I can't deny that. Quick question: are we able to count any of the Brooklyn players in this technically?
You know what's crazy? Spoiler alert, I don't have any of the Brooklyn players on here either, which is crazy because what if they win the championship? It's going to be a NBA champion with no all NBA players on.
I know. Like, are they eligible?
I mean, yeah. Dude, everybody got injured, man. If you play 40 games, you get a shot. I don't think James
Harden hasn't played 40. Kevin Durant hasn't played 40.
Kyrie would be the only person that I would let on my list. He'd be the only one. And spoiler alert, I don't have him on my third team.
Spoiler alert, I don't have him.
Pretty much because of injury, yeah. Or
really? Okay.
Yeah, that too. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's go with Gobert. I got Zion. And then I'm going to go. And I put Kawhi as a forward, didn't I, last time?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I can't go Kawhi, I think that before he started struggling a little bit, Paul George has a phenomenal start to the season. I don't think I can put him at this point, though. And I'm going to go with – oh, goodness. I don't know. Let me shift to the guards. I I'm going to give it to Kyrie. I think Kyrie. I got to go Kyrie here.
All
Kyrie
right.
here, and go ahead and give me Devin Booker as my other guard.
Okay. Now, I will say this so I can try to help save you a little bit because you had Paul George. You said Paul George, but you said you might not give it to him. Devin Booker can count as a forward. Do you want to move him to your forward spot so you can put another guard? Or are you
I feel
okay
like
with your list?
I feel like I'm totally see. I have no list. I feel like I'm totally missing out on a guard here, and I feel like that's why you're telling me
Oh,
that.
it's a lot of guards that are going to be snubbed. I'll give you my list, and then we'll talk. We can talk about some of the stuff.
Yeah. Do your list, and let me think about my fourth or my fifth.
Okay. Okay. So for my third team, my guards, I have Donovan Mitchell, and then I have Russell Westbrook. Is my second guard. For my forwards, I have Jimmy Butler. He missed some games on the front end. Miami was terrible. He came back. He's led the league, or he's tops in the league in efficiency, putting up solid numbers. And dude, they're good with him. Like they have a terrible record without him. So I think that he makes an impact on winning. My next forward, I put in Paul George because I do think that he did enough to make forward. And my last forward, because I couldn't fit him in as a guard, because the other two guards wouldn't fit as forwards, I put in Devin Booker. Devin Booker
I was going
made
to say the
my
slander.
All-NBA team as a forward. So yes, that was my third team. Your third team was Kyrie, Booker, George, Zion, and Gobert. You're okay with that? You're comfortable with that?
Yeah, I got to throw in, but I was missing that one, and I changed that one to. I was funny as I sat there and said, I'm about to make a little bit of a change here.
Yeah,
right?
What are you gonna do? What do you want to change it?
I totally I'm terrible memory. I should have prepared and put stuff down in front of me. I'm going to. Can you read my second team?
Your second team is Dame, Luka, Randall, Kawhi, and Tatum.
Perfect. Take Tatum out. Move Luka to a forward, and give me Russell Westbrook as a second team.
All right, Westbrook.
And then my guard spot for my third team, give me Brad. You're not going to – the man's averaging 32 points. If he doesn't make a damn team.
So you want Brad Beal over who?
I had Kyrie, Bradley Beal, Zion, Gobert, and who was the other one I had?
George was your other forward.
No. I didn't give it to George. I said George would have done more.
So you want who in for your forward? Do you want Booker? Booker in for forward?
Yeah, Booker. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I'll say this. You know, obviously I'm biased. I want to hear your impressions though, because you want to talk about like what it does for the team. Where is Zion on this for you? I mean, the man put up an historic season as basically like a first-year player. And I mean, I know we only won 31 games, but how many do you think we would have won if we didn't have Zion?
Not many. Zion is one of my unfortunate snubs, man.
I understand it. I was just thinking like your like reasoning behind it.
Yeah, well, the reason why I don't have him on that team is basically because I somewhat rewarded winning. Like guys that had good solid numbers, played good amount of games, obviously, and then I rewarded winning. Just to talk about some of the snubs that I had. I mean, you got some of these guys on here, but Kyrie Irving didn't make my team. Jason Tatum didn't make any of the teams. Bradley Beal didn't make any of the teams for me. LeBron James is not going to make it. Well, I'm not sure how the voters are going to vote, but for me, so this is what his 20 or like 17th year, 18th year,
something like that. Yeah,
and I'm sure 18. He's made all NBA for the last, I don't know, all the years minus maybe one or maybe two, like his first 2 years in the league. So he would not make an all NBA team for me.
Do you think he makes it? Because I think he's played 45 games.
I think that for historic reasons, the voters are going to find a way to pencil him
I
in.
do too. Because here's the other thing.
I don't think
I
that
think
he
he's
deserves
played.
it.
I think he's played. I think I heard a stat the other day. I think he's played like one less game than Embiid, and we both just gave Embiid the first team.
We did, but if Embiid didn't get hurt, he would possibly be MVP. He was putting up monster numbers. It would be a closer race. I think Jokic is the undebatable MVP this year. Not saying, but I think that Embiid would have been closer. I think it would have been tit for tat had he not gotten hurt.
I disagree with you, my friend.
Oh, who you got? Talk to me.
I already told you he's in my first team.
Are you thinking Embiid is MVP?
No.
Oh,
CP.
CP3. You think CP3 is MVP?
I'm being completely dead ass with you. Because
wow.
For my MVP, I do kind of what you do for the team. For the teams, I do more of I celebrate or I include winning a little bit, but it's more about to me who had the biggest years. Like on those rewards, I'll sit there because I don't think I would take like, some player who's averaging like, 20 points who didn't have like the greatest years, but like was kind of winning. But like for MVP, man, I said it earlier. I don't have to like give out my spiel about Chris Paul again. I think that there is something to be said. I think this is a very weird year with how everybody's gotten hurt. Let me put it this way. I am not saying Jokic doesn't deserve to be MVP. I'm saying, obviously, I don't get a pick, but I'm saying if I was given one, I would pick Chris Paul only because I think that what he did to a Suns team that hasn't made the playoffs in 13 years or however long it's been something like that.
Yeah.
He turned them from a team that was on one of the worst teams in the league last year, and the next year they have the best record in the league. And it's not like he's out here putting up like garbage numbers. He's doing very similar to what Steve Nash did in his wins. Now, granted, RIP, stolen from Kobe, but still, I will, in my personal opinion, give the edge, but I will not hate one bit on Jokic. I think he is easily right there as well.
Yeah, that's not a mad pick. They have 5 votes for MVP. They just put them in order and like you count them up. CP3 would definitely be in my top 5 for MVP voting. So yeah, not mad at that at all. I mean, think about the beginning of the year, looking at all these guys who could have had cases. Yeah. I mean, it was like 10, 11 guys deep. And then later,
Kevin
it just
Durant
panned out.
I thought he was going to get it.
Dude, he came back shooting fire flames out of his hands. Like, oh my God. He was shooting over 50% from 3.
That man could literally probably miss 3 years of basketball without touching one, come back and shoot 40% from 3.
Dude, he's shooting 47 currently. He's
That's
currently
insane.
shooting 47% from 3.
And like, I understand that, like, that's insane because they may not be contested in the sense of like how other people are contested, but damn, man, 47%. And it's not a short number. It's not like this dude's hitting like, it's not Joe Harris shooting open threes from damn James Harden. I mean, damn, Joe Harris is shooting like 44%, but
he was shooting over 50 at one point in the year.
Was he?
Yeah,
man,
as well as KD, but yeah. Dude, Kevin Durant whenever he came back, whenever KD came back, his first handful of games, I forget, it was like 6 games maybe. I think he was shooting like 67% from 3. Just not missing. The man just don't miss.
Oh my goodness. And I will say this about the MVP thing, and then we can be done with that. If Steph Curry had the Warriors in the top 6 position, it'd be unanimous in my opinion. I think because the fact they're in the playing game,
yes.
Or like for me, not unanimous in a sense, but like for me, it'd be no doubt. Like, but the fact that he is in that playing position is very tough.
Yeah, I think he would garner MVP votes from me as well if I had a vote. Definitely, he's like up there.
We should get some votes.
I know, right? Like, what the F, NBA? Send me my
Come
ballot.
on, man.
You know what?
I got Zion, MVP, baby.
You know what kind of pisses me off about the NBA is that they do their they do their MVP vote or all their award voting before the season ends, like a couple games
Mhm.
before the season ends. But why? My thing is,
Makes no sense.
dude, y'all acting like y'all gotta like get the paper by a pigeon, a carrier pigeon, sign in, pencil in who you got, use some feathers and ink and pencil in who you got,
Man got
and then send that junk back through the mail, the Pony Express. Like, bruh, it's on a computer. You can get it instantly. Like, you probably have an algorithm that counts up the votes for you. Why are you not doing it at the end of the season? It doesn't make any sense.
Man got Benjamin Franklin out there counting the votes by hand, sending them to
Exactly.
Philadelphia on a horse on John Revere.
Man,
Paul Revere. Why the hell did I say
Paul.
John Revere? Damn, my ass would need to go back to school.
Yeah, so yeah, it doesn't make any sense why they do the voting before the season ends. Like, just wait until the end of the season and then do your voting.
Yeah, it's
Because
crazy.
we don't even know where the standings are going to be. Like, things could
And
change.
it doesn't. I understand you don't. I understand you don't want to use like postseason, but you can literally do it the day the NBA season ends.
Yeah.
Like these next 3 or 4 games, but the last the last 6 games, especially in the play-in tournaments, are very big deals.
Yeah. Like, I'm saying that it can be open before the season ends, but season ends, I think it's like 2 days before a playoff or play-in game or whatever.
Mhm.
It's like 2 games before that. Just have them in before that. Cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Or have them in after playing, whatever. But don't end it before. Don't make you have to have your votes in before the end of the season. That's kind of stupid to me, especially because we got the internet. But let's talk about these snubs real fast. Yeah, Kyrie didn't have them in because of games played and whatnot. Tatum,
Yeah,
the Celtics, huge disappointment this year. They had
very big.
issues. I wouldn't really just. I mean, it was a weird year. COVID made it kind of weird. They dealt with some stuff. Bradley Beal, really good. It's just that I wanted to reward more winning. I gave him Russell Westbrook, so I didn't give him Bradley Beal. Yeah.
How are you
And
going to
then-
not have a dude who averaged 32 on
Yeah.
any all NBA team?
You want to know the truth? So
Give it to me.
if 2017, whenever Russell Westbrook won his MVP, if he didn't average a triple-double, people probably would have voted James Harden. If he would have averaged 9.9
100%.
rebounds, they would have voted James Harden.
100%.
Bradley Beal, he was leading the league in scoring. Steph caught up. If he led the league in scoring, he probably would have made my all-NBA team. Because he fell behind,
Narrative.
he doesn't make it.
Narrative. So
There it
who
is,
is your
bro.
you're talking about snub? Who is your defensive? Is it Rudy Gobert is your defensive player of the year?
Dude, Rudy Gobert could win Defensive Player of the Year every year. I think this year it'll probably end up going to Ben Simmons because
I
people have made
100%
like the
concur.
most noise for him, and he is a really good defender.
Man, he is phenomenal.
I'm ready to see him. If the 76ers end up facing the Brooklyn Nets, we'll see how he does on Kyrie. Now, obviously, he's way bigger than
Is he
Kyrie,
guarding
but Kyrie
Kyrie?
is nasty. He should. Or Thibault should guard him, one of the two. But I want to see him on Kyrie and see him on Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I guess like if you are the Sixers, how do you approach that? Because I think almost to the point where, I firmly believe no matter how good of defense you're going to play, it's not going to be good enough for Kevin. But I do think you are right in the sense of you don't have to stop him. But if you could slow down Kyrie, that would be very detrimental to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and y'all are
time,
big on the inside. So
yeah,
they not gonna stop y'all on the inside, and B gonna have a field day.
No. You're gonna have DeAndre Jordan out there trying to be Mutombo, but he's obviously not.
That man done. He's done.
Oh my goodness. You're gonna have damn Blake Griffin guarding Joel.
Yeah.
Is Joel gonna play every game though?
Joel stays pretty healthy throughout the playoffs. He does deal with like lingering injuries, and he still drops 30. So I'm not really worried about Joel at all. I do want to see how if Ben Simmons, he's claiming he's Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, all those votes will already be in, but we will see if he is able to put a hamper on a Kyrie Irving, who is smaller but a bit quicker. If he's able to put a hamper on James Harden, same deal, a great score. And if he's able to even like mess with Kevin Durant, then I'll be like, okay, that's the best defender in the league. Like I'd be down to say that. I think Giannis obviously could always get some votes for that. And Rudy Gobert in the perimeter, if you drag him out to the perimeter, the man is toast. But like on the inside, the amount of shots that he changes, like guys aren't even taking layups if he's in there. Like they just aren't. If they are, they're throwing it like way up. Just seeing his defensive presence on the inside is pretty much unmatched. So yeah, those would be maybe like my three. What's up?
Give me your top two teams to come out the West right now.
Lakers, assuming health. Lakers and
assuming health for everybody, by the way.
Yeah. Lakers are the only team that I can see like a definitively assuming health coming out the West. And if not Lakers, you said top two, so I can't choose Utah and Clippers. So I'm going to roll with Utah, baby. I think that people are underrating Utah, man.
See, that's what I was about to
say.
That's what I was about to say. When was the last time you've gone into a playoff series when I understand the one seed because Utah has been the one seed before and we haven't thought that they were going to do anything or like also with like the Rockets.
Yeah.
But the top two seeds being the Suns and the Jazz, nobody picking them to come out the West.
Yeah, no, people disrespect the hell out of the Suns and
Utah
the Jazz.
is tough, man.
Utah's really good, man.
They got
run deep.
Oh my goodness, they do. I mean, wasn't it Bogdanovich just put up 48 the other day, going like 8 for 11 from threes? And then on top of that, they are playing phenomenal basketball right now without their best player.
Yep.
I mean, Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench.
Doing this year. Yeah. I think that the Clippers, it would be a tie between, it'd be like a three-way tie, Clippers, Utah, and Suns. But I think that Utah would do a good enough job defending the Suns. I think I see a world where Utah beats the Suns and the Clippers. I think the Lakers are head and shoulder or ahead better than everybody else. Clippers, they do have the star power in George and Kawhi. And did you know that like 6 players on that team are shooting over like 40%?
40. Yeah. They're the best
that's insane
shooting team in the league.
Yeah.
Or
that's
like
kind of crazy. Yeah.
You know what my thinking is? Like I 100% agree with you on that Utah pick. I will honestly say this. There is one team in the NBA that they have to worry about not having home court advantage. And we all know Utah home court advantage is a huge thing. Like it's huge thing. I mean, look, how many games have they lost at home this year? 1, 2?
Not many.
I know for a while they were like
they're 31 and 4. 31 and 4.
I know this for a fact. With Donovan Mitchell, they're undefeated at home. I know that is I think maybe one loss, but I know they were like 21 and 0 at one point.
Yeah.
But if they only have to worry about going on the road against the Suns, then I'm not too worried about the Suns. And I think honestly, if you're trying to go against either Brooklyn or the Sixers, I think they match up very well against both of those teams, man. I really do. I think Bogdanovich and Ingles are both underrated defenders. They have Royce O'Neal. They have elite guard play. Mike Conley makes great decisions. They have Donovan Mitchell. Man, they are tough. And then on top of everything, they have the best the best rim defender in the league.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. I will say that. I really do think they are not given enough credit. I think they have a very real chance of winning this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think the unfortunate thing for the 1 and 2 spot, well, not really the 1 because the Lakers didn't fall to 8, but for the 2 spot specifically, the Suns, them playing the Lakers, not making the playoffs after all these years, I think that the Lakers would be a really bad matchup for them. We saw what AD did to him the other night, just by himself, 40 points. I mean, they can't really guard him. And then when LeBron comes back, I think it's curtains. And I think that would be anybody's position versus who was playing against the Lakers. I mean, they were supposed to be a top spot, but because of injury,
100%.
that's why they
Can you
failed.
even imagine that? The Lakers at the 7 or 8 seed? That is insane.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming at the beginning of the year. I
No.
guarantee I wouldn't have said that.
I wonder if somebody put money on that. Like Lakers at like the 7 seed. You know how much money they would win? But that brings up another interesting question. I've talked about this with other people. I believe Anthony Davis is the most fragile superstar I've ever seen.
Dude,
I think that man will literally get I think he'll get poked in the nose and he'll be out for 3 games.
Dude, I was talking about that with Zach on the last episode. In the game where he scored 42, basically every time he scored a bucket, if there was any kind of contact, this man was just laboring up the court, limping.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
I love
oh
him,
gosh,
but damn,
is he okay?
he's fragile. Yeah. He's made out of glass.
Dude, yeah. Him and Kristaps Porzingis, which Kristaps actually doesn't play.
That's the other thing about it, though. He's on a different level, in my opinion. He's
way
a
different level.
Superstar. He's you could make the argument already. I would honestly say it. I think he's a top 5 power forward of all time. Right now.
I think that if he won enough championships, if he won 3-4 championships, we could even argue him up there with Tim Duncan, dude.
Ooh, that's gonna be tough. I think he's way more talented than Tim as total, but Tim, man, I think that boy is so different. On.
Yeah,
that man, that's the big fundamental, man. Let him know the silent assassin.
I say that Anthony Davis is the most what did I say? Underrated number 1 pick. How did I frame it? Because we didn't know Anthony Davis would be this. We knew he'd be good. The man came out blocking shots, but we did not know he would be this.
He took a huge offensive step in
absolutely.
You saw similar things. You saw him kind of do a little something here and there in college, make one move, because he was a point guard in high school. He was shorter. And so he grew. So you saw like some skills, but you definitely did not see top 3 in the NBA skills.
Facts. I forget how I framed it. I don't think I said underrated, but yeah, like I said, I guess underrated for a number 1 pick, because we just coming out of college, we didn't know he would be this monster on offense. We knew he'd be great on defense, but this dude he can score on the inside. He blocks shots. He can knock down a 3. Mid-range is money, shooting over 50% from mid-range. I mean, he's an amazing, phenomenal player. So
yeah. And for as far as the first round, the first draft pick, that's funny. I saw a thing on Twitter the other day that said out of his ranking in the past 10 number 1 overall picks, and outside of Anthony Bennett, I think they had Anthony Edwards at the bottom.
Really?
I don't see that, man. I have been on record saying I don't think he's number 1 worthy. I would rather take Melo over him. I think Melo is. I think he's transcendental. I really do. But the man is putting up 42 points here and there. He out here hooping, and I know it's not necessarily leading to winning, but I'm not going to let the blasphemy just start happening about this man, Anthony Edwards, out here. He's putting up buckets, and he has earned my respect this year 100%. And I do think that, I think that Anthony deserves it because LaMelo got hurt the Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very similar to, if you remember, Ben Simmons and Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Because I think that one was very similar, was it not? Wasn't it Ben Simmons got hurt?
No, Ben Simmons ended up winning. They both played phenomenally their rookie season.
It was the argument Ben Simmons shouldn't deserve it because he had to sit out a year.
As a sophomore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Dude, it's gonna be close. I think LaMelo still did enough to go ahead and win it. If he set out for the rest of the year and Anthony Edwards just kept putting up monster game after monster game, maybe give it to Edwards. But I know that race is going to be close. It's kind of, I guess it reminds me more of a Ja Zion type deal where Ja played great and Zion just came in and played beyond what we thought he would do his rookie year in 19 games. He just didn't play enough games to go ahead and win it. I think is the opposite. LaMelo didn't miss enough games for Anthony Edwards to win it.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I definitely could. And I think the Hornets, man, what a shock they had.
What a turnaround. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know it's not Michael Jordan because Michael, I love you, but you are not a good GM, my friend.
Hey, bro, he went out and got Terry Rozier, bro. What you talking about? The
Man,
came
Terry Rozier just
He
shot
got
42 on
Terry.
the Pelicans the other day, and we still won. That's crazy.
Oh man, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the Hornets do in the playoffs, man. I think that they are number
First round
7
gone.
right now.
Yeah, first.
No,
round
they're
gone.
number 8. I don't know, man. Dude, they could beat the Celtics. The Celtics are done.
No,
The Celtics are
First
done,
round,
man.
first round, not play-in game. First round gone.
First round done.
Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah.
No, whoever goes
Yeah.
against those top 3 spots, they're done in the first round.
Yeah,
definitely.
no chance. I mean, it's not as bad as the damn last year or the past 2 years when Milwaukee has just dismantled the damn Pistons, but still,
Right.
it's bad.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be great. Heck yeah. But dude, anything else? Because it's almost time for me to go get some
Man.
BBQ.
Barbecue.
Yeah, man. They're having the barbecue fest downtown.
Oh yeah. I forgot about it. Are you off tonight?
I am.
Oh, gonna be a good night then. A lot of barbecue. Man, I'm jealous.
Indeed,
But yeah,
and
man.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for having me. It's been, I mean, this is like kind of like what our normal talk consists of. It's just on video now, and it's been having a lot of topics, a lot of fun things. So I appreciate it.
Of course, man. Thank you for coming on, man. Peace out. Yo, thank y'all for tuning in. You can check us out on Twitter at GZCast. You can check us out on YouTube at the GaZ. Joshua, anything to promote yourself?
No, man, after this video, they won't want to come watch me. I gave a lot of weird and very cold takes.
Oh, no, you did fucking fantastic. I hope they see the video. They see this goatee. I mean, you look good, boy. You look good.
Oh, man. Yeah, thank you. If it makes you feel better, I'm balding already, so.
The bearded one.
I remember you told me that on a damn
you
cruise.
Look good.
That shit was hilarious.
You look good.
But yeah, thank you for having me. And man, I would love to be on it again if you could have me. And yeah, a lot of fun, man.
Oh, dude, you're gonna be on plenty more. So just be tuned in and be ready.
I'm ready.
All right, well, thank y'all for listening. We appreciate the listens and peace.